Why does the world hate Palestine? The unspoken tragedy of a people betrayed. There is a haunting question echoing across generations and borders. Why does the world seem to hate Palestine so much? Why is there such indifference, even hostility, toward a people who have suffered immeasurable pain, displacement, and injustice? People who never ignited the flames of war but instead opened their arms to those seeking refuge. Why is the world silent as Palestinian children are bombed, homes destroyed, and dreams shattered? To understand this, we must look at the bitter history that the Palestinian people have been forced to endure. A history stained with betrayal, displacement, and silence from those who claim to champion justice. The forgotten refugees of history. Before the establishment of Israel, Palestinians lived in their ancestral lands, working, raising families, dreaming of peace. When Jewish refugees fled persecution and horror across oceans and continents, many Palestinians welcomed them with compassion. They shared their homes, their food, and their hopes. They were the first to offer sanctuary to people escaping unimaginable horrors. But this kindness was met not with gratitude but with loss. The creation of the Israeli state in 1948, the Nakba, the catastrophe, saw hundreds of thousands of Palestinians forcibly expelled from their homes. Lands were stolen, villages erased, and families scattered across borders. The world watched, silent or complicit. The great silence and complicity. Why this silence? Why does the international community seem blind, deaf, and mute to Palestinian suffering? The answer lies in a toxic combination of geopolitical interests, media bias, and deep-rooted prejudices. Powerful nations, entangled in their alliances and strategic goals, have often sided with Israel, providing military, financial, and political support, even as Palestinians endure occupation, checkpoints, and systemic discrimination. Media narratives frequently skew the story, painting Palestinians as aggressors rather than victims. This skewed lens feeds misunderstanding and hatred. The children who suffer. What breaks the heart is the image of innocent Palestinian children caught in the crossfire of political games and territorial ambitions. Children who should be playing, learning, dreaming, but instead live in fear, witnessing bombs tear through their homes and lives. The word genocide is not an exaggeration when entire communities are systematically targeted, stripped of rights, and denied justice. The truth the world must hear. Palestinians never sought war. They sought peace, coexistence, and justice. Their resistance is a desperate plea for survival, dignity, and human rights. Yet they are painted as villains, terrorists, obstacles to peace. This global hatred is not rooted in the reality of who Palestinians are but in the political expediency, fear, and prejudice that shapes international discourse. What can be done? The world cannot continue to turn a blind eye. Justice, truth, and peace demand recognition of Palestinian humanity. Their right to live freely, safely, and with dignity. The world must stop the silence and start listening. The hatred is not of Palestinians themselves but of their rightful claim to a homeland, a life, and justice. Until this truth is confronted, the cycle of suffering will continue. To hate a people for seeking their basic human rights is the deepest injustice. To be silent in the face of such suffering is to be complicit. Palestine does not deserve hate. It deserves justice,